if there was an agent out there listening to us right now, a broker, a real estate agent, they're about 1 to 3 years into the game and they're kind of struggling right now, what piece of advice would you give them? Let's switch gears a little bit, man. As because this is an interview about Moose, It's an on the spot coaching session.
Growth is different for everybody.
Yes.
Right. It's not so much about how much deals you're doing or how much money you're making. Right.
I wanna get to the juicy part. The part where most people don't really know about who Moose Math is. So, ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to welcome you all to our interview today. We are interviewing one of my big brothers in the business. Call him Bong, and this is a gentleman that I've had the honor and the opportunity of being taught with, and just being in his environment, being in his circle. I learned a lot from him. Just being, getting back into the real estate business. So really, what we're doing this for is, we haven't really had a chance to sit down in quite some time, and so I just wanted to, kind of first of all catch up. It's gonna be a very casual conversation.
Yep.
And Moose, man, it's an honor to join you today at your humble studio.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah.
So, first off, man, for the people that haven't had the opportunity to meet you, we run into the same circles a lot in real estate.
Yep.
I just kind of wanted to really get to know who you are, man. For our audience. So,
okay.
Before the awards, man, Moose, before the production, who were you growing up, and what did your childhood look like, man?
Childhood looked like I was born. I'm 48 years old now.
Dang.
So
all right.
grew
Don't
up.
look
My
like it, man.
parents got divorced when I was pretty much in like kindergarten, first grade. I grew up in South Seattle, Section 8 housing, and then
Okay.
And
I didn't even know all of that.
Yeah. Afterwards, when my parents got divorced, my mom, single mom with 3 boys. I got 2 older brothers, and we pretty much lived in North Seattle. For the most part, we lived in Lake City Way in a 1-bedroom, 710 square foot apartment.
Dang.
And my brothers, pretty much from elementary school all the way to how I graduated, my brothers and I slept on the living room floor. And my mom stayed in the bedroom because there were 3 boys.
Right.
And my mom was working, and she made window blinds, starting at $4.15 an hour. And
that's back in the day, huh?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
So so pretty much that's kind of we grew up really humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I didn't go to college. I mean, I barely graduated. I got like a 2.1 GPA when I graduated, and then I tried to go on a community college, and didn't make it a quarter, and just knew that. But I just knew that I wanted to get into real estate since high school. Didn't really know when. And then fast forward from high school, and then when 2005, I got married to Dana, 2005, and then we had Amelia. We got married in January, and then we had our first daughter in December of 2005. And at that time, Dana was like, well, there's never a perfect time to get into real estate. And I had just gotten fired from my job at the dealership as a service advisor.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you worked at a dealership, man.
Yeah, as a service advisor. I wrote service for about, 5 years maybe.
What?
And
okay. What's dealership? Did you want to give him a shout out or no?
No, it don't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked at a couple dealerships, but
okay.
Town and Country, Toyota Seattle, Greg Reardon Dodge,
Okay. Toyota in Seattle, the one in...
but it was downtown then.
Oh, that was downtown back then. Okay, not on airport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I went through a couple different dealerships, and then afterwards, from pretty much when I got fired in January, then Dana was like, you got 90 days to figure out this real estate thing. And so I went and got my license, and I passed, and then I interviewed at 4 or 5 real estate companies.
Dang.
In 2006, it was a good market.
Yeah.
And but nobody gave me a job. Nobody, a lot of broker or owners or whatever didn't hire me right away, and then I ran into at the time I knew of Thatch, and I just we have a lot of
Common
connections,
friends.
yeah, common friends or whatever, and then he was like, go talk to Albie, so I went and talked to Albie, and pretty much have been at the Renton John L. Scott ever since.
Nice.
So March of 2006 is when I just got my license, and I signed up in the office, and shit, it's been almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Next month will be 20 years.
That's remarkable, man. Shout out to Albie, and
Yeah.
Saul,
Yeah.
So, and this is an amazing speed run, man. As I'm sitting here listening to that, I'm imagining you, growing from, a small kid, a small boy, from you was literally, we started at the bottom, which is at the cold floor of that apartment, and now you're up here, such a pillar of the community in
I don't know
Columbia
about
City.
up here, man. I'm still learning and growing, and still got a long ways to go, man.
That's
But,
awesome, man.
yeah.
And that's something that I've always appreciated about you, how humble you are. I guess if there's anything that I could sum that section up, it's going to be that, even if you were a 2.1 student, you could still have a lot of success in real estate. And,
Yeah.
I think that's really going to, cover our conversation today about that. So take us through, man, because, we all go through our challenges and our hard times. What would you say is like one of the hardest seasons in your life? And I wanna get to the juicy part, the part where most people don't really know about who Moose Math is.
Yeah, when you're talking about like, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to in regards to juicy in regards to that, but we can talk
Yeah.
about it. It's
Whatever you're comfortable with, and it's just
yeah, well, I don't really talk about it a lot openly right now about it because mainly it's because for my kids. So that's I would tell you that
Okay.
that part I don't want you to put out there because it's more important that I actually put it out there.
Yeah,
First, right?
for sure.
So, but when, but about me, just in general, I mean, like, man, I've always been a natural. I'm a people person, man. I love connecting with people. I love connecting people. In my opinion, I feel like I'm a really big giver. Sometimes I give too much, and I'm learning how to say no a lot more.
That you are.
I've always come from some people, they say they give, but are they giving unconditionally, or there's always something behind giving, right?
Facts.
And I've always felt like I'm helping people because I really love helping people.
Yeah, it's a very fulfilling feeling, and I think for you as a mentor, and we're all kind of in the, at some point we all want to be mentors. We all want to help people out, grow as much as they can.
Yeah.
And I think it's very it's one of the most fulfilling things because as we not only as mentors do we get to teach, but while we're teaching, we also get to learn ourselves too, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
typical mentors learn more than they teach. Well,
Yeah.
that's for sure. It's like the teacher always learns more than the students.
Facts. Even though it doesn't look like that, right? So speaking on that, why, you kind of touched upon it earlier about real estate. You kind of just naturally gravitated to it with a little bit of push from, your wife, Dana. I mean, why this game and why 21 years? I mean, 20 years,
Yeah.
coming up with 20 years now.
Well, I think real estate is, I've always, you watch all these people and how they become successful in real estate. And, surprisingly then, I mean, like, I've, because of the circle that I run in or, who I was around, I've always, Thatchers have always, have watched or looked from the outside, right?
Outside looking in.
And I've always known if Thatcher, I was like, man, if that dude can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
So that's why he's always been a big role model for me. And, I'm fortunate today, like he's still my mentor. And, but, when I first asked him to mentor me after I got my license and all that, he was like, no, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
So, but, that's just the thing of just being persistent, always showing up.
Yeah.
And always wanted to grow. I mean, I've been around the guy pretty much ever since I started real estate, 20 years now. And we've seen a lot of people come and go who always wants to be around him, but they're not constantly wanting to keep growing and evolving. I mean, they're still doing real estate or whatever, which is great, right? But there's so many different levels of this real estate game.
It is. There truly is, man. And it's amazing how, the evolution of it. Because remember, I recall, you were about a couple of years earlier than I was, and then I had left real estate as well.
Yeah. When did you start?
2008.
2008. Okay.
Mid
Yeah, I remember you were in the same office.
Same
right?
office, yeah, same office. And the Thatch we know now is like way different back then. Everybody evolves, right?
Right.
And shout out to him too, because now I see you guys working out. You guys are roll dogs now. And he's still our mentor. We still go to his events, and we still love drinking from the fountain of all of his knowledge and all of his practical experience. You know. So I mean, if you could go back, man, because I think what a lot of people could really relate to is who we are as people, just human beings from our humble beginnings. If you could go back to Moose in high school, man, like what would you warn him about? What would you tell him about yourself? In high school.
I think like in high school, I mean, I don't know. The thing is like, I don't know if I take stuff back or whatever. I've always been, always had like a lot of fun. I always want to have a lot of fun. I've always been, wanting to connect people. I've always been about people.
Nice.
And I think I don't know what I would change, man. I mean, I had a lot of fun in high school.
Take us through that, man. Like, what's a typical day like for you, in high school?
I don't know, man.
When you say you have a lot of fun, I mean, is it,
what the truth is like, I don't really think about it or talk about it much because I just don't stay in that zone. The thing is like, that's high school is just high school, right? And so now it's like, I think about what's next. I'm thinking forward all the time. Like, where does, what kind of vacations do I want to take my kids now? And what does Dana and I want to do? I mean, I don't know. A lot of people still reminisce about high school, and that's cool, but that's just not me. I don't really think about it that much anymore because that was then, and that's that, man. So
I love that, man. So what I got from that was that you like to stay present to what is
what's the conversation, right?
Yeah.
And I can choose to talk about high school, but that doesn't bring me that much joy to keep talking about it. I'm about to have my 30-year reunion.
Right.
I mean, but the reality too is that it's more enjoyable talking about where are we going.
Yes.
Versus where we've been.
That's the juicy part, man. And this is actually a great segue to, my next question is, so you started in 2006, and you asked Thatch to be your mentor. What was your first 12 months like? Being in the game? Not the highlight reel, okay? The real story.
No, the real story was like, at the office, we, learned how to really learn my scripts. Right. So, you get your scripts that, I think I had like a Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry script. And then Thatch was like, hey, you got to remember this whole booklet in 30 days. That was the challenge. And once you memorize, just like what I did for you.
Yes.
Right. And we can talk about it. Right.
And we should. We will.
And so, pretty much I was memorizing my scripts. I would write them down, spend 60, 90 minutes writing them down. Then I would cold call for 30 to 60 minutes. Then I would spend writing them down again and just start memorizing them verbatim. And it felt like kind of, at the time, maybe robotic, whatever, but like every new agent that if people ask for help, whatever, I tell them, spend the first 30 days, remember doing what I'm telling you, it will change your life. Yes. And I like to say, when you worked on my team, I literally had you do that. And I'm sure today, you're still doing what I told you, or how it's probably so natural that you don't even think about it.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And, I fought you a lot for that, and we bumped heads a little bit because it's like, man, I'm writing all these scripts and doing it down and, but, there's never a perfect practice, right? We would role play. And you'll come out from left field with an objection I haven't heard or practiced. Yeah. But that's usually the fastest way to learn, is what I found, man.
Well, practice, I'll tell you. So what does practice make?
Practice makes permanent.
Good.
And that's your quote, you know?
Yeah,
I remember that top of the head, man.
And so you're gonna remember it. Like,
yeah.
listen, it just comes natural, like a conversation now.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
And what you've learned from the scripts or memorizing them, you can go. We work anywhere in the country now, and go find deals if you wanted to.
Exactly.
And a lot of times people are they don't want to spend time refining their skills, because this is still, as much as social media and you know what social media can do in marketing and all that, but you know, it's, you got to have some skills,
Facts.
right?
Yes.
You
At
still
the end
got to
of
have
the day,
skills.
it's a skills game.
It's people's,
Yeah.
it's a relationship business. It's a full contact business. Okay?
Absolutely.
But you also need to have some skills.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to keep you in the game, and, you know, being competent and proficient with it, and, you know, maintaining your freedom within the business too, you know? So in your first 5 years, did you take off like a rocket, or was it like,
Nah, I mean, I think, you know, my first year, you know, I probably did like 20 deals. You know, I really worked
that's
a
awesome.
lot, right? And you know, you know, we had just Amelia, and she was really young. I mean, the biggest balance was, you know, we went into a market that, you know, was really good, then immediately really hard, because we
Right.
hit the 2008 to 2012 market, which was really bad. And
a lot of people
you
still
know,
have scars from that?
and oh yeah, you never forget. But I mean, it was rough, man. It was
Yeah.
really, really hard. And you know, and then we had a really young family. You know, like Dana and we just we got married and had kids right away. So yeah, it was a lot, learning how to be a parent, learning how to have balance, learning how to navigate the market, and it was tough.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, the truth is, you know, that's what you know, builds character. And I think this market right now, people are starting to feel the crunch
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is where you know, you're really going to see a lot of separation again.
That's it. Yeah. And you read my mind, because that was my next question. You know, what separates the agents that, you know, who quit in like 2 years or 5 years versus someone who lasts for like over 20, like you?
Well, I don't know, man. You know, the thing is like, one, I don't know what else I'd really do, you know, as a career, because this is what I know. But more than anything else, I think I've got so many years of compound belief that I built up in myself, that, you know, I know that it doesn't matter what market I'm in. I just need to go out. I mean, I've had enough success and enough wins in my life now. It's taken just more mindset
Yeah.
to keep going in whatever market, because every market, needs a place to live. Everybody needs a place to live. You know, housing's never going to go away. It's just a matter of how productive do I want to be into my database, looking for deals. You know, I'm just trying to spend time. You know, once you learn how to, what I call, either go fishing or go hunting or whatever, you can go do that anywhere. And you know, I was talking to a lot of friends recently about, you know, when you're a business owner, what's the hardest part about business? You know,
Building business.
yeah,
Getting business.
It's you know, getting business, getting leads, and you know, and people forget, like, man, that's the most important part about business. I mean, it's not about how to market, it's not about anything else, right?
Right.
You gotta, you know, there's a lot of, and getting business means getting referrals, or you know, cold calling, door knocking, working your database, right? Whatever it is, networking. You know, everybody has different ways of getting business, and it doesn't matter how you get it. Okay, but you always got to be, it's a full contact sport. You always got to be thinking about business all the time. So it's a lot of mindset.
Take us through that contact sport analogy that you have, because, you know, when you said something about compounding beliefs, it's almost as if like it's you're born with it. And you know, and I look at your logo, you know, which is the moose, right? I'm an Aries, you're a moose. And you know, one thing I admired about Moose all the time is that you just keep on going, bro. Like, and
yeah, I don't know if I feel that way, you know.
Well, that's why, you know, outside looking in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm probably more of the, you know, subdued kind. But when it comes to deals, you know, I know if I need a closer, right? If I need a closer, I'm bringing in Moose, you know? So take us through that, man. What was like compound beliefs for you?
You know, I don't think, you know, me being the closer or whatever, I think it's, people smell, you know, I think people can very sense right away if you're being sleazy or if you're being trying to take advantage of people, and really not being about like how to really come a place like, are you putting people in a win-win situation? Are you putting, if this is a situation that, everybody's going to feel good about, right? Because you can't win every situation, and it's okay. But, I guess for me, when I look at it, I want to make sure that whoever I'm working on the other side, that they feel good about it, because this is too small of an industry to, be be taking advantage of people and having a bad rap,
That's
having
facts,
a bad
man.
name. And that's not, that's my standard, and that's, how I roll. I mean, I don't need to have a bad name out there, right?
Right.
You take too long to build a good reputation too, and it goes away faster than you think. So
No, that's amazing, man, and I really feel your heart in that one, because if there's anything that Saul, Jim, and Albie taught us, it's that reputation matters,
yeah,
and that this industry is a small community.
yeah,
Word goes around a lot,
yeah,
and we live and die by our word and our reputation.
right,
So if there was an agent out there listening to us right now, a broker, a real estate agent, they're about 1 to 3 years into the game, and they're kind of struggling right now, what piece of advice would you give them? And this is like, you want to speak to the camera on that one.
oh, I don't know. My advice to anybody who's new, who wants to get into the business, is to, like, this is not an easy business. I'll tell you that
Let's
right now.
get that straight.
Okay, and people think all they gotta do is do a lot of social media stuff now, but you gotta be really good at social media. Okay,
Right.
but at the end of the day, is still, I guess I call it a full contact game, right? Meaning that you gotta really know how to get in front of people, a lot of people, consistently, and be good at your lead follow up. I would say that you gotta know how to work your database or work a CRM right away.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest thing that I didn't do, is really dial in on a CRM right away. I just know how to sell, right? That's just you gotta know what you're good at and what you're not good at. And if you think you're really great at sales or connecting with people, good, then hurry up and get an assistant so they can help you out, right?
Right.
Because the faster you get an assistant or help, doing the back end of the business,
Yeah.
is the faster you can just stay focused and doing what you love.
Yeah, I love that, man.
So many people spend time doing what they don't love.
So it kind of becomes more like,
Do you spend a lot of time doing what you don't love?
oh, hell no.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so there has to be a sort of flow, is what you're saying. There has to be a flow. There has to be a natural gravitation to it. And if Mark could check out like the piece real quick there.
Yeah.
For a lot of old school guys like myself that call real estate full contact, I think martial arts, but obviously what you're referring to is something else when you talk about connection. When did you realize that you weren't just selling homes and you were actually selling a business?
I don't know. I think it was from day one. I mean, I've always cared about people, right? I just needed to learn how to do it, right? And everyone's got to learn somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
And for me, it was always been about people, no matter what, right? And it's just always being honest and being direct. I mean, like my very first deal, happened to be my in-laws, and it was their condo in Leshai, and literally, like, we had an offer, and then the deal fell apart, and they were on vacation in Hawaii. And I had to call and tell them that, the deal fell apart. And I'm like, man, I got to call and tell my in-laws this, right? But the reality is, but they're people, right? People are people, man. You got to just treat everybody the same, and you got to just communicate and make sure that you're always looking out for everyone's best interests. So there's, I've always been that way. And
That's awesome.
That's just how I roll.
So earlier you mentioned about getting an assistant, right?
Yeah.
What shift happened that made you realize that, other than getting an assistant, in order for you to scale your business, what other things were you able to implement in order to get that done?
Well, I mean, the rule of thumb, if you're a real estate or a single real estate agent, is to be able to do 3 deals a month, 3 months in a row. Then you should, really consider hiring somebody, because you've built enough confidence that you can generate and close enough business.
Yeah, I remember that.
So,
I remember that stat.
Yeah, and so, and for me, when when you know how much you don't like doing admin work, right? Then it's like it's a motivation to, hurry up and speed this thing up, right? To get help. So, and a lot of people are like, man, how am I going to do it? How am I going to afford it? What am I going to do? And for me, it's like, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I've always been that type of person, unfortunately. I'm going to figure it out. And, but, it always works out, but I do, I just know what I want. Right?
Yeah.
I just know that, I just keep me in the sales part or the communicating or connecting or, getting in front of people is, what I enjoy.
How do you talk somebody through that, man? Who's having reservations about hiring somebody? Because again, one thing I'm present
Are you
of
having
right
reservations
now.
about it? Or, I mean,
That could be it, but I'm sure there's a lot of agents out there that, they've already done 3 transactions in 3 months, but they're just scared to take that next step, of getting an assistant, hiring an assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have an assistant?
Not yet, not
Okay.
right now.
So
Yeah.
what's holding you back?
For me, it's just control.
Okay. Why control?
Because I want to make sure I know everything that's going on in the deal and make
Okay.
sure that, timelines are good, paperwork is good,
Okay.
and it could be a little bit of ego, I would say too,
Okay.
with
Now,
that.
now you're being honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It ain't
Yeah.
control.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably ego.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I'm gonna guess it's probably fear.
Oh yeah, there's definitely fear.
So
there.
so the question is like, you are at this age and I've known you for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
You used to work on my team, and you go to all these seminars. You're getting a lot of coaching, but why do you think what's holding you back from like massively blowing up?
Man, that kind of caught me by surprise, man, and put me on the spot.
Well,
I mean, if I was, go ahead.
go ahead.
No. If it was me, there's probably a little bit of fear of success, probably, man, and that has showed up for me before.
Okay.
Freedom,
else?
a fear of responsibility, losing freedom,
Okay.
because I just want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
You can still do what you
And
want
the
to do.
commitments, right?
You can do a whole lot more.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how fast you can say that. Like you want to do what you want to do and have all this freedom.
Right.
Why the hell wouldn't you just get an assistant? Do you think you have more freedom?
I like that. That's a very powerful reframe.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I sure
I
would.
mean, you've been around it, right?
Yeah.
And my hallucination is again, there's more fear for you to find somebody to help you, really help you, and it's going to take a lot of leadership too. It's going to take a lot of like you growing.
Yes.
So the question is how much do you want to grow, Teddy?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you go to all these events and all that, but like at some level, like you are making changes or jumping or whatever. Like, are you really being honest to yourself or being vulnerable to getting real support, or are you willing to surrender and be vulnerable and like play at this different level where you're capable of? Because you have been doing it long enough. You have built enough belief system, but something hasn't really triggered you to like, man, I'm ready. Right. So what is it? That's the question.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll probably have to sit down and really marinate on that and really reflect. And like you said, not be afraid to be vulnerable about that, because I've been doing a lot of introspection lately too.
And you've been doing
like
that for
literally,
years,
right?
bro.
Even what's that?
You've been doing that for way too long.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the push, man. Seriously. And this is something that I could always count on you, is to be, like I said, man, my big brother that, would kind of kick me in the behind, to get going, and
It's right in front of you. That's a problem.
right.
Right. I mean, literally, like, you having a lot more freedom and you having a lot more flexibility, because that's what you're saying. That's what real estate gives you.
Yes.
Right. But the problem is, and the universe probably gives you a bunch of opportunities, but you are not seeing it really happening because you're so busy wanting to be in control.
Powerful. Yeah, thanks for connecting those dots for me. Seriously.
I don't know. We'll see in the results.
I love that. Okay. Well, you hold me accountable as always. I know that for a fact. So so let's switch gears a little bit, man. As because this is an interview about Moose, you
Well,
know. So,
it's
but
not about
it's an
me.
on the spot coaching
Listen.
session, which I really like. And I when I approached Moose, I said, man, we gotta be authentic, we gotta be vulnerable, and so I'm embracing it, really, seriously,
Okay.
and I thank you for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to your business, Moose, if how did you I know you're really close to your community, you're very sincere with helping people out. How did you build your name right here in Columbia City? Like if you take us through that.
Yeah, it wasn't so much about building my name. It was more about, because my dad was never in my life, and there, like I always like to pick and choose people who I highly respect or role models, and when I pick people, I just pick what they like, what I like about them, or what I like about their business, and there were a couple of agents in our office and who, I hand chose, and I was like, okay, I like that part about their business. I like that part about their business. And so one of the agents I chose, or a couple of them, is, one, he was my mentor. When I first started, his name's Paul McKay, and he's like, man, you know what? Most of my business is all around my house, and when I get a call or a sign call, I can just say, oh, I was actually on my way. I'm like 10 minutes away. So they would show up and, but he only lives 10 minutes, 5 minutes away. So he's always like, oh, I'm on the road. I can stop by right away. Right. And so that was one model. It's like, I've always learned the closer I work to my house, the more time I get my family, because my dad was never in my life. So one of my biggest drive was always having time to spend with my girls. I got three kids and three girls, and now Amelia's 20, Nyla is 18, and
Wow.
Jada is 13. So two of them are in college, away. Fortunate, unfortunate, so, and I have an eighth grader. So now it's like my priority has always been, my schedule has always been around my kids' lives, and so it wasn't really trying to build a reputation. It was more about, hey, you know what? I'm gonna just work close to home. So over the years of Compound, I just kept working around my house, and I'm also, the other fortunate thing is that I have a pretty cool nickname, so it's an easy to remember type of nickname.
Right.
Moose, and then my real last name is Math, so it makes marketing a whole lot easier.
Eminem.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was I was just staying close to home. My deal is I just want to, is spend time, be close to my family.
That's awesome, man. I could kind of feel you holding back a tear there when you said, my daughters are
Oh.
not, are away to school, obviously,
Yeah.
right? And yeah,
It's part of life, right? And you're just learning, and now they're at the stage that I only teach them is when they ask when they ask questions. I can't, like when they ask, and then I'm there for them, right? But there's only so much you can still teach them, while they're away, because they're always being influenced by other people now, right? And my way to spend time with them is just to do vacations or to go to where they're at and spend time with them, and that's kind of where life is taking me right now.
yeah. There was a stat that I heard recently where, the 90% of the time that parents spend with their kids is right before 18. And so is that becoming more real to you right now?
That I spend with my kids. Oh man, I always kicked up my kids. I mean, that was always been like a priority. It's like me and hanging out with my girls or doing family stuff has been my jam, and I've always been 100% clear about that. I wasn't wavering, and when they were young, I just they knew always my schedule. The worst feeling that I can say is when they, something happened. If they always said, "Well, my dad's always on the phone." That's what I hate, because that's what I, don't want to hear. But literally, I spent a lot of time. I mean, I went to, majority of my kids' events, games. I was always there.
Nice.
So I mean, and that was all by design, and um, I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, if you were to rebuild your business from the start, right? Since obviously this pod is for somebody who's just within the industry for 1 to 5 years. how would you rebuild it if you were gonna start from scratch?
I would spend, I would do the skills, I remember changing that. I would spend more time, growing my database the way I did, working in the neighborhood the way I did. But I would spend more time looking for investments.
Oh,
And I would have been investing from the go versus, after 10 years of doing real estate and then investing, right? I would have learned how to invest. I would not learn, I guess learn, but commit to investing right away, and because if that was the case, I would have been I've been investing about 10 years now, almost 10 years.
yeah.
But I can only imagine if I've been investing for 20 years, what my life would be like.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you know, if I've been buying and holding for 20 years now.
Right, right. Well, I mean, basically, because 20 years is when, your entire career in real estate now. And so, sometimes it takes some time, How would you have shortcutted that? Like, when you're talking about commitment.
I mean, shortcut, what do you mean by that?
Shortcutted meaning like, how would you have started it sooner? Like, what things would you need to have in place?
I would have bought and hold, one at a time, one or two a year, and figure it out, right? But I just wasn't in my radar. I was so busy trying to make my commission and get my 3%. That's all I was thinking about.
Yeah,
and
being transactional.
I would say that a lot of agents right now are still the same way. How they think about their commission versus how to, structure something more than just a commission.
Yeah. So building long-term wealth.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you want to be able to learn how to have options. Like, you said you got into real estate because you want to have freedom and flexibility.
Yes.
Right. So the first step is really to get an assistant because, you need help. So you keep, going to find deals.
Right.
Right. But at some point, when you start doing deals and your, investments, you're going to like, man, I need to go earn more money so I can get more investments. Right. But you can't keep earning when you're still in the office trying to make it all perfect.
Right. No,
Meaning doing paperwork and all that. Right. It's like, I don't need to know what's going on with the deal because, it's not my highest and best use of my time.
Correct. Right. You mentioned Paul McKay. You mentioned Thatch. What does mentorship mean to you? Right. You kind of touched upon it a little bit earlier about helping the community, coming from a sincere place of helping out.
Yeah.
Touched up a little bit on your relationship dynamic with your dad. Not being there.
Yeah.
If you could kind of put that all together, what does mentorship mean to you, and why do you pour so much into agents?
Mentor means a lot to me because, well, now my standard of mentors keeps getting higher. But, I don't, a lot of people, they get complacent, they get to a point where, they're like, okay, this is enough. Or, I did something earlier about they peaked, right? There, some people peak at high school. All they do is talk about high school. I'm not talking about high school, right? I want to talk about, what I'm doing. No, I'm thinking like at some point I got 3 girls. I might have grandkids. Something like, my mentors now that I'm looking at, like I'm looking at people who have grandkids and what they're doing, because I'm already looking like that's the life I want to have.
Wow.
So I'm thinking like, how are they vacationing with their wives now? What type of vacation are they taking with their wives? So I'm just, you get to pick and choose what you want to think about.
Yeah.
Right. And for me to think about now is like, my mentors that I pick and choose, that I follow or that I get help from, is they pay for their kids' vacations, right? They want their kids to come join. They pay for their grandkids to be there, right? And so now that I'm taking vacations, I wanted to have nicer vacations with my kids, and I'm already kind of pre-programming them like, hey, if dad, mom pays, are you coming? What the hell are they going to say?
Yeah, I love that.
They'll be like, yeah, I'm coming, right? So you want to take nicer vacations because, like, you know what? That's what one is. At some point, okay, the only time you're gonna, their kids are gonna want to keep hanging out with you because you're doing things together, right? They want to keep spending time with you because you only have deep relationships when you spend time together.
Right.
So, on purpose, how am I spending time with my kids? So, like, no, again, I got a daughter in Hawaii, and I got a daughter in Chicago, and I got one at home. So, like, right now, we're thinking, in July this year, we have a friend who's getting married, a friend's daughter who's getting married in Italy. So that's going to be a family trip. So we're talking about it. And then in December, right? I want to take the kids to Cambodia, and my brother and my close friends, right? And it's because I want ways for us to spend time together.
Yeah.
So I'm already prepping that, but that's my motivation also to work harder, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like it's not about the money; it's about the experiences, right? And I'm down to spend money on experiences, and I'm down to spend money on making more memories, with people that I love spending time with, right? And that's what matters to me. That's the motivation.
I love that. It seems like, when you're spending time with your family, it's very intentional, and you do you make sure to make it enriching for everybody. Because I see your videos, I see your pictures on social media, and they really have a great time. I could tell, and it's super important for them, and for you
No, well,
to be able
but the
to
thing
do
is
that.
like, I want to lower the bar, right? I want people to come and actually, you know, the thing about, when I'm around people is, I say is, what people will say about me when I pass away is that, okay, I've always, when we got married, before I got married, Dana gave me a poem that I still live by today. It's called The Dash. And the one that she gave me was by Eleanor Roosevelt. And everybody has a start date, everybody has a dash, and everybody's gonna have an end date. And what do you want people to say about you? And one of the things I want people to say about me, in my dash is that, when I got to hang out with you, Moose, or when I'm around you, man, you were like the freaking lighthouse. You always brought energy. Always brought happiness. Like it was fun to be around you. I learned something. Like, I always left in a better place, right? Because like you know, I tell like you worked for me and all that, and you're on your own now. But like, if I were to die, what would you say about me?
Oh yeah,
What would
yeah.
you say about me? Seriously.
Well, like I said, opening this podcast, you're somebody that I really respect, and I really value the coaching and the mentoring that you gave me. And Moose he's real. You're a real person, and so loving father, like I said, pillar of the community.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. I mean, it's
And so the thing is, you don't have to wait till you die to hear that. You got to know what you want the dash to say, and if the people that who love you, ask them what they say about you. And if it's not what you want, if if they don't tell you exactly what you want, then you have time to do it now while you're alive to fix that.
yeah. I really felt that, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So I've worked on that, and now it's like I'm still, I'm a work in progress, man. Right? Yeah. I mean, and I like to be I don't like being the popular person or the known person. I'm just out there in the grind doing the work, and love to be kind of on the quiet side, right?
Yeah.
And but I'm out there just trying to. At the end of the day, now, like I said, I'm about to turn 49 this year. It's like, all right, what's the next run? Because the next market's coming, so
It
I'm
is.
preparing for the next market, and I want to make sure that I really, really capture it because of all the years of compound of belief and knowing what I know and so forth, and being around, I'm around, people I hang out. You are who you hang out with, and I
Facts.
still feel like I'm the schmuck around the people I hang out with, right?
That's
And
great, because the other day I just made a post about being the smartest agent in the room, and we always constantly need to look for the next level up, and it's not out of fear or not out of insecurity, but it's part of fully experiencing what it means to be human is, in my opinion, growth,
yeah,
right?
I mean, growth is different for everybody,
Yes.
right? It's not so much about how much deals you're doing or how much money you're making, right? I mean, that's all important. I think growth for me is really, how much time do I get to spend with my family, and what am I experiencing with my family, and what's my lifestyle like, right? And so that's the biggest part of growth is it's all lifestyle based. People buy and sell for lifestyle, right? And I'm doing things for my lifestyle. I work, you work, everybody. It's all lifestyle based.
Yeah.
So
So if there was a metric that you could actually identify how well you're doing, it's going to be around the lifestyle you have with your family, is what I'm hearing you saying.
well, that's how I measure it.
Yeah.
I measure like you're not going to die with your money. You're not going to die with bad credit or good credit. You're going to die with what people say about you, or you're going to die with, the impact that you leave on people's lives.
That's amazing, man. So to close on our episode today, because you already answered my closing question, which is what people would want to hear or what would want to say about you, when you're gone in that dash. How would you, what do you think most real estate agents out there watching us right now, what do they get wrong about success?
A lot of people think all their success is money, right? They think about, how popular, how famous they can be, and how much money they have, and people are really ego driven.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's okay if that's what they want to consider. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right. People are going to learn when they want to learn, or make adjustments when they're ready to, and a lot of times is the teacher is always there, when the student's ready, right? But today I don't just naturally go out and reach out and try to help people anymore. It's like when they reach out, great, I'll help them, and then I'll give them some homework, and if they do the homework and call me back, great, and if they don't, I'm good. I can go. I got plenty of things to do.
Yeah.
Right. But I'll help you if you do the work, I'm in. You don't do the work, then you know what? There's a lot of other people you go, steal their time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, so at the end of the day, what you're saying is, we don't make people wrong for finding their own source of fulfillment, but at the same time, it's about being honest with yourself and really knowing what it is that truly makes you happy and really truly makes you feel fulfilled, not so much as the surface stuff. Is that correct?
If I wanted to today, I'd be riding your ass for hella long. Okay. But at the same time, it's like, dude, I've offered to help you so many times, right? You're gonna come ask me for help if you want help.
Yes, sir.
Right, and that's fine. And if not, it's fine, right? Because I'm not gonna lose any more sleep over it.
Yeah.
Right, because you have the resources. Right, just like, hey, you wanted to come and call and to do this. I was like, all right, cool, right? And you took action.
Yes.
So the problem is that people don't take enough action, or they don't want to be vulnerable enough to ask for more help. Because they don't want to be vulnerable because they're too busy trying to look good.
Yeah, that's true too. And it's amazing, how you say that. It's I'm becoming present to my epiphany of, like, maybe when I was starting out, I was a little bit more image conscious, but now I'm like, I'm seeing all the other content creators out there in the real estate space, and I kind of see how they could be kind of cringy when they're just kind of begging for attention, and so that's why what I found is when we change our approach to just trying to be more helpful and like really pouring into the community and just say something that people could actually learn from, where it's not like you're not doing it for applause,
Yeah.
And I really do see that in you too, because like you said, when you don't really be kind of like all up in the glitz and all the glamour, right? But at the same time, it's having that real connection with your community and helping them out.
Well, yeah. Well, now now I have I got only one daughter at home, and she's 13, and I have a lot more time or more flexibility. So it's like, okay, I want to go do more, but I'm a lot more very decisive about how I want to spend time and who I want to spend time with.
Yes.
All right, and learning how to say no a lot more than yes.
I love
I can tell you that. Learning how to say no is really hard for me sometimes, but it's way more impactful.
That's awesome, man. Well, if people want to learn more about Moose Math and they want to work with you, where should they reach out?
You don't want to learn from me. I'm a schmuck. I'm a schmuck.
You say that humbly,
So,
man, but
But I mean, you can DM me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or call me. But I just go by Moose Math. Those are all my handles. So, but I'm pretty easy to get a hold of, and I'm down to help you. You do the work, and I'll keep helping you. That's how I roll.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Moose, thank you so much for honoring us with your presence today in your lovely home.
Yeah.
And it was a real pleasure. Finally get to sit down with you, man. So,
Yeah, no, that's cool,
yeah.
man. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out and, keep asking for help, bro.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
All
promise
right.
that. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right.